He said the best thing that we can do as human beings is create another planet.
Create another planet?
Yes.
What is the major difference you can see?
They have long skulls.
If you're interested to know more about who built the pyramids and what kind of information Thoth shares with us today, watch this video to the end. Can we consider him to be a human or not?
Yes.
Has he been somewhere else before he was on Earth? Somewhere towards the end of this video, we're going to share with you some insights about our conclusions and as well some confusions of information that we received.
Yeah, some of it adds up to some things. Others, it's hard for me to understand. And sand, I think.
Yes, that's where I wanted you to be anyway, so I want you to feel good walking through sand.
Yeah, I'm walking through sand.
The person I'm referring to is that you, with help of your companion, are asking for communication with Thoth.
There's a few different men here. It seems like one doesn't really have much hair, and one has hair.
Okay.
My mind is not understanding some things, I guess.
Okay. What would that be?
Because I thought they were supposed to have hair.
Okay, do not assume. Do not assume. Just observe as you do, and you do that very good. So now the question is that we connect.
This is weird, I'm sorry, I don't understand this.
What are you not understanding?
I thought they were supposed to have hair.
Can you please let go of that?
Yeah.
Okay, do that right now. Just accept whatever comes. So I want you now to ask for assistance to connect with Thoth and that he could come forward if it's okay to talk with him today.
Well, yeah, that's him.
Can you make him out so he can step forward?
He's in front of me. I feel like he's breathing on me.
Breathing on you? Okay.
He's tall.
In regard to a body size that you have here, what do you mean by tall?
He's tall, taller than me. He's kind of big.
Okay.
I think he might lift a lot of things or something, maybe.
Okay. Can you ask him why he's appearing like that to you? Is there any reason to it?
Because that's what he appears to be.
Well, then now we are asking now for officially for permission to communicate with him and have questions asked to him.
That's why he's here. I feel like he's looking around right now, like almost to a point where he's seeing if anybody's watching him.
Okay.
And that man is standing kind of far away.
Can you ask the purpose of this man?
The man that was with me, he's kind of far away, but I don't see any more goats anywhere. It's almost like they just vanished.
So now I would like you to focus on a clear communication channel with Thoth. Okay. Ask him please what would be the best manner to do that with him now. Is there anything that we should know or achieve to have a clear channel with him?
He's just that be aware of some things that are around me, that I'll be okay. And he has, I think they're, I don't think he understands the word. Maybe I don't understand the word.
Okay, what would be a similar word to it in your vocabulary?
Guards.
Mm-hmm. Like protectors?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is he trying to say with that? That you will be aware of having some other beings around?
Other ones. It's light outside. There's not many of them, but they come out in the dark, because that's when they come, he says.
They come into the dark when it's dark?
They come when it's dark out.
And what are they doing?
Watching them.
You have to be a little bit more clear. Who is watching whom? The guards are watching some?
So that there's nobody that comes inside.
So they're there to support us and him?
Some are, but some are not.
Okay. Can you please ask him so we can understand a little bit more what's going on?
He's telling her to leave. He's telling her to leave. I told him I don't want her to.
Okay. Who is her?
She's a girl. I think maybe it's related to him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's guards there.
Can you please ask him and explain to him that we have to be sure to whom you are connected to? It's just for protection and for security. Can you please ask him that he is going to somehow prove that he is his Thoth?
He's having me feel his... I think it's connected to his waist. It's very heavy. I'm just feeling his... I think it's kind of like a skirt or something.
Mm-hmm. How is that going to prove that he is Thoth?
Because he says that I need to feel his presence.
Okay. Is he understanding that you're asking for such questions? That we have to be somehow careful to whom we're connected to?
Yes.
Okay. So my first question for him is, what makes him sure that he is going to connect with us? We were asking for it, yes, but why is he agreeing to it?
Because there's that man in the background.
Mm-hmm. So he feels comfortable with that man in the background?
Yes. He's seen him before, he says.
Mm-hmm.
He trusts him.
Okay, that's good.
I almost feel like he's under the influence. Thoth is under the influence somehow.
Of what?
I don't know what that would be. Almost something maybe he drank. I just feel that he's maybe hallucinating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I feel like that.
Okay, well,
I feel kind of dizzy.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can observe that and note that. Well, I would like to ask him now, what is his connection to the pyramids in Egypt, what we call Egypt in our time? Those big pyramids, the 3 Ask him if he had something to do in their construction, yes or no?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He oversees the place he's at. He's almost like he makes the decisions.
Mm-hmm. Can you ask him who made the plans of that or those pyramids?
He's very careful from what he tells me.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to know who wants to know.
Well, you can tell him it's about learning what really happened in our past, because there's a lot of deliberate misinformation, and that we are now in a time that we want to lift the truth, and we are there to fight for that. So
I think I feel really dizzy. I think I'm connecting with him somehow.
Okay.
I don't know if he drank something. And it's almost like if you were to see something in the distance, but it's not there.
Like a Fata Morgana, or what do you mean? Like hallucination?
Oh, that's weird. Like, no, if you were to see something in a distance and it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
It's hallucinating, maybe.
Yes.
Somehow.
Well, even if you feel
sorry,
that,
but I
that's
feel
okay.
this, like he's hallucinating, like he's...
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's confused because he sees me.
Well, ask him and as well you that you both focus a little bit, that you can do that.
I just feel like I feel sick.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't have to feel that anymore. You can just observe it. It's just information.
But it makes me feel sick to my stomach.
You don't have to feel that anymore. Just go back into a clear. Just observe. It's his. Whatever he has. So, can you please ask him if he was involved in the planning of the pyramid?
Yes.
Did he do it alone, or did he have help?
He had help. He could not do that himself, he says.
So, next question is, can we consider him to be a human or not?
Yes.
Has he been somewhere else before he was on Earth?
Yes.
Did he have anything to do with the time of Atlantis, yes or no?
That and the time before.
So when he was building the pyramids, there must be a very important purpose to do that, isn't it?
Yes, it is in contact. It's a landmark. And there's going to be other ones that are going to be built around not the area, but it's in communication with other types of communities.
Are those communities off Earth?
There's a few off Earth, but in other galaxies.
So what are, or is the real purpose of those pyramids when they were fully functional?
The connection to one another, it's a designed to connect on the outside world, including in areas that are hard to see. So there are other planets that have the same aspect, and in water as well.
Mm-hmm. So when they were built at that particular time, and he and his help did that, was there a certain need or a certain reason to build them at this time?
It told the location so that they could see above, he says.
I do not understand this answer.
It was a communication, a destiny, a landmark, so that the ones above could see where they were.
Why is it so important for others that are off planet to know about the pyramids or the planet in itself?
It's what you would say is somewhat of a home base.
Mm-hmm.
It is the same structure as where they come from.
So how are those different places where pyramids are and connected are? How does it work? Is there a certain energy to it, or is it technology, or what is it that actually makes the pyramid to what it is?
Inside the pyramids, there's certain areas within each structure that have been developed by the ones that know, and this connects to the outside world.
Are the pyramids made just for that purpose as a communication purpose, or as we today sometimes understand that these being places where kings and pharaohs have been buried?
Yes. It is not for them to be moved, he said.
So again, have those pyramids as well been built to have those kings and pharaohs to be buried within?
Some, not all of them, will be buried in them.
Mm-hmm. So not all of the pyramids have the same purpose or function?
Not all of them, not all in other destinations.
Mm-hmm. The one he has built, the one that we talk about, it's the Pyramid of Giza and the others. Were they built because of communication and energy, or as the place to be used to be burying kings?
Both of that. Both of that.
Mm-hmm.
They were very high powers who's in place within them. They communicate in other destinations, and they come back and communicate with them on the other destinations, give information to help the community.
Okay.
And they learn from them as they give back to the other places that have the same type of structure.
When those pyramids have been built, can you please ask him or get a feel about the environment then? What I mean by that is, was it warm, cold, or hot?
In this destination?
Where those pyramids are in the so-called Egypt, or the Pyramid of Giza, never built. Was it cold, warm, or hot?
Warm.
Was it dry or humid?
Dry in certain times, but humid more in certain times.
Was there water involved?
Not a whole lot, but there was some water.
Has the water been used as a function or a purpose to build the pyramids?
No.
Where the pyramids are there any other structures below the pyramids?
Yes.
Are there structures that have a very high importance?
He says to be careful.
I know. We know that there are structures today there, but we do not know exactly what they are for.
Makes me nervous.
It's okay, we're safe. In those structures below the pyramids, have they been used for humans to be accessed or not?
No.
I understand. What would happen if humans could access those structures?
Why?
Because on this planet right now, in our time, there are different factions that seek power. Some are there to help the planet and some are there not to help. And we need to figure out how we can help.
He wants you to show him.
What?
What you're talking about.
To show him what?
What you just said.
Okay. Well, give him through your mind what I usually talk about, that we have different factions on planet, off planet, that are here to either help, and many of them are here as well for their own aim, power gain, or even with deception and lies. A lot of influence.
It's hard for him to understand. It's...
Well, tell him that there's a lot of corruption here in our time. And a lot of lies.
He feels it's more destruction. I said no.
It could lead to that. That's what many of us are trying to avoid.
Then he says we don't have the right people we're working with.
Can you please repeat that so I understand?
That we're not working with the right type of people.
Well, yes.
If we were knowledgeable, we wouldn't be in where we are now.
Yeah. That's why we try to get that back.
I think he feels we're pretty stupid.
I can agree on that.
He wants to know who's taking control of the community.
That's a little difficult to explain because we not even know exactly who or what it is. But it seems to be these are power structures that are not just human-like, they're probably from off-planet.
I feel he's not very happy. He wants to know why is there so much corruption?
Well, we could maybe come back to that later, but let him know that we are here to really get the truth back in the best way we can, so we can help the community. It happened a lot of bad things the last couple of 100 years, and we need now to try to somehow correct that.
He's talking to that man. Because he's confused. And the man says it's okay. He wants to know, how is this possible? The man says allow it to take process right now. He trusts him, So
Well, that's good. And he maybe has to learn to trust us. And if it's necessary for him to connect with our minds, we would allow that. So he could gain some knowledge.
yes.
He's maybe confused about a few things, so do we. So we need now to have very clear communication and hopefully a few answers. The question is, the pyramids have been built, they had a certain purpose. And my next question is, do those pyramids still fulfill their purpose and their function in our time, yes or no?
Not a whole lot, but there are some things within them that are of importance, he says.
Okay. Ask him that on top of the pyramid, the absolute top of the pyramid, where the peak is, what was the purpose of that peak?
It actually points to destinations within above the area that they live, he says. It points to certain areas. So if you were to point up into the sky, it's a connection to other parts. So
well, then my next question is, has this peak, this piece that has been put on top of the pyramid, any purpose or function with the functionality of the pyramid itself? Is it an important part to it?
well, there's when it points up into the sky, it's a landing point. It's a landing mark to the ones that do not live on planet Earth, he says.
Okay. So let him know that today, highest point of the pyramid has been taken away. And we do not know if that happened by coincidence or purposefully. What would happen to the functionality of the pyramid if that piece has been taken away?
It's designed that if something was not intact, it still would have the power within it. It does not matter as far as it is what's inside of each individual creation of it, he says.
Okay.
It still has the same purpose.
The next question would be, the energy that the pyramid uses to fulfill the purpose, how has been the energy created or used? What I mean by that is, did the pyramid itself create the energy itself, or has there been an external energy source to make the pyramid work?
External. There are hidden points within the pyramid, like a maze. We would say a maze now. And that is what we're always looking for. He says that it's already within the pyramids. There's a code, it sounds like he tells me. A code within these and the ones around planet Earth. And it's very important that there's some importance to that within each one of them. But it's very hard to find. And I think that's what he's talking about. And
Okay.
I feel a little nervous when I talk about it.
Why would those codes be very important if you know about those codes?
Because that's the secret of planet Earth, he says.
Okay.
As what he sees from what I show him, it's hard for him to understand, but it seems as the codes are becoming closer, he says. And once that is in place, that's when there will be some changes and it will be united with others, he said.
Okay. So again, now we go back to the question now as maybe information flows a little bit easier. What was the actual real purpose to build those pyramids on planet Earth? Was it to help the planet in any way or the community, or was it more for those people that come from off Earth?
It's a landmark for them.
To find planet Earth?
To find the people that are in that certain area.
Okay.
They have somewhat a part of them. They're somewhat a part of them. It is a part of them, he says.
Okay. My next question to him would be, did he have anything to do with any of those figures that we now know in our future time? For him in future, for us it's the now, that we know of. There are different figures in the Egyptian literature that we called gods in any way. Was he one of them or represented one of them?
As of today.
Yes, if you look back.
There are 3, he says.
What does he mean by that? 3? So he represented 3 of them?
Yes.
When we would see them in a human-like figure painted on a wall, how would the head look like? Would the head look like human-like or not?
Not like what we see a human today.
Would it look like human-like or more animal-like?
Half-breed.
Okay. Is there any symbol to one of those figures that it's representing him?
Yes.
Can he please show you that symbol?
I try to find it. I see it, but it's more like, it's kind of reminds me of something you would see in a doctor. And a medical sign.
Okay. Do not associate to anything, just observe form, feeling to it so you can memorize it.
I see it.
Imagining you would draw it, how would you follow the line so you could draw it later on?
It looks like a cross with a snake going through it.
Okay. Okay, now I would like to ask him if he is aware that in our time that we have influence, or at least we are almost quite sure that we have influence that is not human-like.
Is he aware? You want me to ask if he's aware?
Yes, is he aware that we in our time have this influence on planet Earth?
Absolutely.
Did he have in his time, and he was there active with the pyramids, as well aware of it, or was there another problem going on with that idea of influence?
He said yes, it was there too, even before the Egyptian times.
How did they deal with it?
I feel like they didn't deal with it. It was more of the women that dealt with it.
Okay. Doesn't matter who. The question will be how. Had it been allowed that this influence took place, or has it been tried to eliminate, or how did they deal with it?
They had ones that were somewhat protective of them. More so the women. Women are the ones that associated with them, not the other ones. It was almost like they communicated more with the women.
Mm-hmm.
I just see a lot of women around.
Okay.
There are other ones, he said, that his father had contact with.
You're talking about the father of Thoth?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Is the father of Thoth, do we know about him in our time?
Not a whole lot. But he had a connection somehow. He was a great man of intelligence, he says.
Mm-hmm. Ask him if his father, or as well him, were able to live very long, or if they had a similar lifespan as the regular human.
His father actually did live long, but not as long as he did, he said.
So him, Thoth, lived longer?
No. He sees a vision, but his father was living quite a bit longer than he was.
Mm-hmm. In human terms and years, and a year for us about 365 days, something like that. How long were they able to live in such years? What comes first to mind? Do not analyze it, even if the numbers may be a little bit off what you would be considered normal.
41 is the number that came.
41 what?
41 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's considered long?
Yes.
So how many years did it take to build the pyramids?
You want me to ask him that question?
Yes.
I don't understand.
What are you not understanding?
It didn't take long.
Yes, so do not analyze it, just what's the answer that you get? First answer that you get.
If that even a year, it doesn't even seem like that is it was even that long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how that's.
Do not understand right now, that's not important. When the pyramids have been built in a very short time, was there any special technology that helped them to do that?
Yes, but they're big ones there.
Big ones?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
They helped build them.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel the ground shake. I can feel the ground shake.
What do you mean by big ones? Like people or technology, or you have to be more specific. Big ones what?
I feel like they're not I don't know if these are, I don't know what they are.
Yes, do not question that. Just report what you see. Are they considered, no, let's say, if you see a regular human at 6 to 7 feet high, okay, if one of those big ones would be beside a regular human, how many times higher are they? Or larger or taller?
At least 3 times.
Okay. Can you tell me about their heads, how their heads are built?
They have points on them.
Points on what?
There's on their heads.
You have to be more specific. What do you mean by that? Points? Where are points?
It goes down their head into their back. You can't really, it's hard to explain, I guess.
Mm. If you look at their skull, in regard to a normal, regular human skull, is the skull built differently or not?
Yes.
What is the major difference you can see?
They have long skulls.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by long? It goes up or backwards or frontwards?
They just have big heads. They're up and down. The head is big.
But you said it's like longer?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So where does it go when you say longer? Does it go like more up. Or more to the back or in an angle?
No, it goes up.
Okay.
I'd have to draw it.
Yes. If you see their features on their face, like
I don't think I want to.
their eyes, they have a similar form to a regular human eye, or are they different?
They don't have human eyes. They don't have human eyes.
How would be the difference?
They don't look human. They look weird. I'm trying not to concentrate on them because I don't understand some things.
You don't have to understand right now. You just listen to me. You do a good job. Just observe and report. That's all. You're not going to be influenced by it in any way anyway.
I keep on looking back at the man.
Excuse me?
I'm just looking back at the man.
The man?
That's been with me.
Okay. So those larger ones were helping building the pyramids?
Yes, but I feel like there's other, maybe we would call them airplanes now, or they're just...
So technology in a way?
There's some technology there.
So technology that could be above ground, like you would say in the air?
Yes, but they just disappear. It's almost like an illusion. I mean, you can see it, and all of a sudden it's gone.
Well, you can focus on and make it clear the picture. If you would see such something in the air compared to the size of the pyramid, if you would see the pyramid fulfilled and built and one of those vehicles, how big are they?
Well, they can become big if they want. They can be so small and they just disappear, like it's not even there.
Let's say you can observe one of those vehicles doing a function. What would it be?
They can change structure. And I almost feel like it's... I've never seen it before.
Yes, of course not. That's not important right now. You just have to observe. You do a good job.
It tastes like if you had fillings in your mouth.
Like mercury?
Yes.
Okay. Are those vehicles manned or unmanned? What I mean by that, are these more like drones, or is there anybody inside operating them?
I can't tell.
Ask Thoth.
Yes. And he says yes.
So going back to those ones that are so large and tall helping, what would be their gain? Why would they want to help to build those pyramids?
Because they have the connection to how they're created, he says. It's how they built and where they're from.
So they just came to help build the pyramids, or have they been on Earth as well for a longer period of time already?
They've been on Earth before.
Mm-hmm. How was the relationship between the large ones and the regular humans on planet Earth?
Now,
In the times where the pyramids were built, and maybe the time before, when they were coexistent?
they trusted them to some point, but they were not to be trusted, he said.
The big ones?
Yes.
Okay. Were they somehow dangerous to the human population?
In some ways, yes.
Mm-hmm. So how could the human population protect themselves against the big ones?
And he said in his time, it was just the way things were. Almost control. And it was control somehow.
But he appeared as well to be more or less as a regular human somehow compared to them. So how can he make them work for him?
How can Thoth make them work?
Yes, they somehow helped build the pyramids, and as he was
because it helped their community. It helped their survival for times of stress, he says.
Mm-hmm.
And back in those times, it could be extremely powerful on the outside, so it helped protect them in some way.
Okay.
They had the power to change the climate, he said. It was a control thing, too. They controlled the climate, he said.
Okay, well, that would be interesting to go there as well, but we're not going to go there right now. So my next question would be, as those larger ones have been present on Earth at that time, what was the reason they disappeared or they left in later time, in his point of view?
I'm trying to ask him that question.
Mm-hmm. There must be a time when they left, or the last one left of them. Yes. They know where to land, huh?
I don't know. What was it?
The flight again, just connect the fan. You're there, just there. Everything is okay, you're just there. So the question was, when did the large ones leave? Or not when, but why?
Because they moved on to other places that they needed to go to. And they haven't really left, he says, from what he sees.
Can we think about them coming back again in any way, or they're somehow still around?
No, not really, he says, but they can... they have ways to they have ways to change, he says.
Change what?
Change their ability to, just like the type of ships that have the mercury in them.
So like almost like shape-shifting in a way?
They can change because of they're very old, he says, and knowledgeable on how to manipulate matter.
Has those large ones and humans ever been in a war? In some kind?
Not on planet Earth, but in their own place.
Okay. The large ones, are they somehow depicted in our time when we go to Egypt? Are they somehow depicted that we are reminded of their presence they had?
Today?
Yes, in our times.
Yes.
Can he show you a picture how they are shown to us in that place we call Egypt today?
Show a picture of them then?
Yes, now a picture that we know how they look like. Something that we maybe find there. Is there something left over in Egypt that reminds us of the big ones?
Yes. He says you will find them. They've been cut out, he says.
Cut out of a material?
Of non-material. They've been cut out of certain rocks.
Are they in a standing or sitting position?
Both.
Okay. What is the reason that they have been cut out so that we can know today in our times that those large ones have been existing at those times? Is there any purpose to it?
Of why we should know today?
Yes. Why is it important for our population, our times, to know about the large ones?
He said there's ones that already know.
Yes, but the bigger part of the population have no clue. As he maybe said and felt earlier on, there's a lot of stupidity and ignorance on our planet right now.
Yes.
So is there anything that is important for us to understand about the large ones in our time? Is there anything that will affect us or does affect us?
They can change the climate of planet Earth.
Why would they want to do that?
To disrupt it.
Are they actually doing that right now or not in our times?
Not exactly that right now.
Okay.
In certain areas they can. In water, he says.
Okay. So now maybe last one or two questions before we end today with this wonderful communication is, in our times now where we are sitting now here, looking back at him, is there anything important for us to know to make this place we call Earth a better place in regard to his work and the pyramids?
He says there's corruption in certain types of belief systems that happen within theirs as well. And that there are things within our world that are hidden, and they are trying to find them, he says. That is why they're here.
What do you mean with they are here?
The other life forms.
They're trying to find something here?
Something is hidden within the Earth, including the pyramids and the other ones located in the Earth.
So what would happen if they find it with Earth and the population?
There would be no Earth.
Okay, so like destruction in any way?
Yes.
Well, what can we do to avoid that?
I don't even think he knows. He says that these life forms are so intelligent that they know exactly what you're thinking, and if they can go that far, they can find anything.
Well, that sounds very promising, isn't it? So his work that he has done must have some form of use and purpose.
Yes. As there are, it seems that he says there's a certain substance or something that protects them, where they're not able to actually sense, see, or feel. So, as strange as this sounds, it feels like the ones that were of importance in some way and trusting actually laid this over them, like an energy type of field. You want me to explain what it looks like?
Only if you can do that, and if it has any purpose to know.
He pretty much tells me, why do you think so many people are trying to find the answers? Because it's almost impossible to see or feel because of what they put around it. I don't understand.
Okay. So there was something that has been put around the people so they do not see?
No, not around the people. Whatever's embedded within the pyramids, not just in Egypt, but in other areas of the universe, these are the key to finding out the existence of everything. And I don't know what you want me to ask him.
That's okay. Or you can disconnect from this question here now. Very good. So I try to maybe formulate it a little bit different. If he now as well gets a little bit more adept with why we're here, what we're doing, and in what times we are, is there anything that he could tell us or say us that would be helpful for those that are trying to make this place a better place, or to save it in whatever way, if there's anything to save anyway?
He said the best thing that we can do as human beings is create another planet.
Create another planet?
Yes.
Physical or non-physical? In our point of view.
Explain.
Well, we see our world as a physical world, and we know that there are other densities in some way. So to create a new planet, that can be done in different ways, probably.
It's been, he says. How did you not know?
Well, we have some ideas of that. The question would be, how do we deal with what's going on right now here? That's the question. And maybe he has some insights.
Says how do they not know?
Who is they?
Us.
Well, that alone would be a couple hours of explaining, but let's say in our civilization right now, a lot of things has been going the wrong way. And there's a lot of ignorance and misconceptions and lies and deception, and that's what we try now to fix in some way.
He thinks that's what's being kept from us. There's already something's already developed. He doesn't understand how we don't know that.
Well, some of us know something about it, and that's why we are here to figure out what to do about it. That's the point.
I feel he's very frustrated.
Yeah, you can tell him that we are too. Sometimes. All we can do is to work hard to make that.
He wants to know what's wrong with us.
Yeah, maybe another time. Because we're running out of time here.
He doesn't understand why who do we connect with, he says.
Yeah, that's a good question. Just let him know that we are very happy that we at least got some information, and we try to make the best. To fix all that. To bring it back maybe on course. Whatever it is. Is there anything he'd like to say without being frustrated that is helpful for us before we part?
He says that if we don't know this, it's not very good. That our planet will perish from whatever's going on with the control of not knowing this.
Yeah, that's a possible outcome, yeah. So that's why we're here to try to fix that and maybe turn it around in any way. After Heidi's back to full awake consciousness, I immediately asked her a few questions about the session that we just had. Yeah, that's because your eyes have to adjust. Is there anything you want to say? A little wrap up to our session, please?
It's not what I guess it's not what I envisioned in some things, or what I've seen in pictures, or it's not what my mind could comprehend. Is some things that's kind of hard to understand, I think.
Yeah. Like what? Is there something particular that you maybe want to point to?
Some of the images and the feelings that I was sensing, it's not what I would have seen before, like in books or whatever. It's almost a little bit, I feel like I'm a little disturbed in some way, in some parts, but I felt like whoever this was, that I felt sick to my stomach, like, I don't know if he was drinking something.
Okay, who knows?
I don't know, like, and it make him hallucinate and stuff. It's like when you're in a desert and you see water. It's kind of like that, where it was trying to understand that a little bit, but yeah, some of it adds up to some things. Others, it's hard for me to understand.
Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, this is going to be the wrap up for this session that we had, Thoth and the Great Pyramids. I have a bunch of notes with me here, so I want to share with you everything that went through my mind. So I wrote them down, so bear with me, please. First of all, what you have to know is that Heidi did not know what it was about today. The only thing that I mentioned was that it is going to be about the Great Pyramids, nothing else. So we went straight into the session, and as you could observe what we did in our video. So what a session like this clearly shows, it's the limits of how we can trust information that we receive. And in regard to the accuracy of given information, this is a problem. The problem is the feedback. As remote viewing and in research hypnosis session, if the target is outside of time and space, it is very challenging to see if this information that you receive is either wrong, accurate, or correct. Okay, let's continue. As with this session, we got some interesting data and information, but it actually raised more questions as we got answers. Example: if we study our past and the literature that we have, we tend to believe what was written. Here in this case, the subject was Thoth. Some of our information received today matches ancient texts, and some of that is contradictory. So it is now wrong or right. Literature that has been written by humans can easily be corrupted or bent to fit any agenda, or whatever agenda. So did Heidi perceive Thoth like he was? Or was it simply a misinterpretation? Years back I read and studied the two books, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life. It's a book written by, or two books actually, by Drunvalo Melchizedek. The two amazing books with tremendous knowledge and information. You may have to read them. In these books, Thoth has been described by Melchizedek to have lived very long, and much longer as a regular human life. As we do not exactly know who and from where Thoth came, we can consider it to be possible that he lived very long. Heidi perceived his age much younger. Again, possible, as humans in these times didn't live that long. So it is now wrong or right? I cannot tell. The most compelling information that we got is how long it took to build the Great Pyramids. It is way out of our comprehension, unless we take into account that the Great Pyramids were built in a fashion and with technology not known to us. All we can do is gather more information, and maybe we will know one day the full truth about it. We leave you with this today and hope you appreciate our work. If you have not subscribed by now, please consider to do that. And don't forget the activation of the lovely notification bell and throw us a like. Thank you.